SimWorld presents Around the Table with E and the Fat Man.
What's up, everybody? It's me, it's the B.O.B., and I'm here with another solo edition of Around the Table with E and the Fat Man, the podcast where me and E talk about whatever we want. Today, I wanted to touch base a little bit on if an individual player could lead a SimWorld U team deep into a hoop hysteria run. You look around, at the lower levels, when you're in elementary school, middle school, high school, the prep level, when you are playing at those lower levels and still really learning yourself, learning basketball in general, there's always going to be those talented players who might just be athletically more gifted than the others, who can absolutely be the face of a team and turn a team's fortunes around. Now, when you start getting up into those higher levels, and the same goes for every sport, when you think you're fast in the prep level, you're still going to be a little bit fast in that SimWorld U level. But then when you hop up to the SWBA, everybody's pretty much as fast as you. Same goes for all the other sports in SimWorld U football, going up to the SWFL. The speed difference changes, and the athleticism, everything starts to even out. But since you can still have that little bit of an advantage in that college level, because you look at players like Joel Embiid, who picked up basketball later in life. You have those players who are getting those scholarship offers strictly based off of future talent or potential, which we talk about that at the high school and prep level as well. Like, you're judging them based off their potential. You don't necessarily look at them as much on potential at the SimWorld U level, but it is still up there. The potential for a player, you just never know until they actually make it to the big leagues. You look at not only just based off talent, but you look at players like Greg Oden, who couldn't stay healthy. So someone who can have this much potential can have their entire career derailed by injuries. I believe he didn't play 3 full seasons, but I believe he played about 3 seasons. And that was across, 08, 09, and 14 or something like that. Like he had to take a few years off and try to make a comeback and everything. You never know what happens. But anyways, looking at a couple teams at the SimWorld U level that we have to wonder, can they make a true run in hoops hysteria? Are they going to be able to? I think those 3 teams are teams that also have their star player who was in SimWorld Prep either last season or in the Ground Zero season, who were also the main star on their team. You look at Maryland, Cooper Kinji-Cross. Ground Zero season, Washington Stars, Coach Murray. He absolutely dominated the competition. It didn't matter who it was. Without Cooper Kinji-Cross, the Washington Stars probably weren't going to go 14-8. Now, that said, he by far of the other 2 players I'm going to mention had far better outcomes their final seasons in SimWorld Prep, but he led that team, averaging over 30 points a game. You game planned around him, and it didn't matter. At Maryland, they made it into the second round of the East region last season and got demolished by Michigan, Lorenzo Phenom's Michigan squad. In this season, Michigan's adding some players if Maryland faces them again, they're probably not going to get past them. But I do have to question if Maryland is even going to get to that portion of hoops hysteria. Are they going to make it to the second round with just Cooper Kinji-Cross still? I don't know. He, again, absolutely dominated at the prep level in Ground Zero, but you need more than one guy at the SimWorld U level. You look at Missouri. They brought in Jafet Towns. Jafet Towns, he was dominant for the reigning Trays, and as dominant as he was, as much as he was a part of their success, they still only finished 16-16. But if they didn't have Jafet Towns, I could easily have seen them being a 5-win team. So he added that much to that particular squad. But again, at the SimWorld U level, when we look at who he's going to be teaming up with, I don't really know if he's going to have enough around him to make a run in Hoops Hysteria. I mean, he has some SimWorld Prep alumni with him as well. He's got David Drafe and David Duffy. But looking at that squad from the top to bottom, I just don't think Jafet Towns is enough to lead a SimWorld U team on a deep run. This is not SimWorld Prep where there's only 32 teams. Well, right now, 30 teams. Can he make everybody else around him better? I don't know. He can take over games, absolutely, no question about that. But it's more than just taking over games. Can you make those guys? Can you make the David Drafens, the David Duffys, the Dylan Bannons, the Finley Seviers? Can you make them better around you so that it's not always about you? So that when that team shuts down you, if they're able to, nobody else is going to be able to step up around you. I don't see that with that Missouri team. And the other team, again, love Suno Chapa to death. Very, very, very good player. But when you look at Oklahoma, who does Oklahoma have around Suno Chapa that's going to be able to help him? I think Suno Chapa has a partner more than Jafet Towns. More than Jafet Towns and Cooper Kinji Cross have. I absolutely love the type of player that Jace McGez is. What he was able to do with Lone Star Basketball in his only season in SimWorld Prep, he really, really, really impressed me. I think that they could be a nice 1-2 punch if Coach can figure out how to make those two coexist together, which I don't think will be an issue. Suno Chapa, he doesn't have a big head, so he should be able to coexist with anybody. But you look around at the rest of the roster, and it's a lot of question marks on who's going to be there with him. I mean, Suno Chapa, they finished in SimWorld Prep Season 2. Best Coast Ballers finished 17 and 16. Again, Suno Chapa was a big reason for them to finish with 17 wins. Do I think that it would be as dramatic as if Jafet Towns not being on Raining Trays was? No, I still could see the Best Coast Ballers winning double digits, at least 10 wins. They had some solid talent that shone through. Some of them expected to make big jumps in Season 3 of SimWorld Prep. Kraus, Cortez, Cook, all those guys. They were a young team. So for them to go 17 and 16 was big. And we'll see how they do. This is more about SimWorld U. Can a single individual player lead a SimWorld U team? I just don't think so. And I can't think off the top of my head any SimWorld U player who it was him and a bunch of nobodies who really made a run to win a championship to the Final Four. Every team that you see that shouldn't get there gets there because of their team play. Your George Masons, your Butlers, your VCUs. Those are the teams that they're not getting there because one guy is shining for them. They're getting there because they're unselfish, and they're willing to let somebody else be the star. And again, on those teams, there wasn't necessarily a star, but that's what made them so good and made them so scary is they didn't care who was going to be shooting that night. All they cared about was picking up that win, and they knew that they had to do that through teamwork. So let me know what you guys think. Is there a team? Are any of those three teams able? Do you think they'll be able to make a run in Hoops Hysteria in SimWorld U Season 3? Never say never. We can always say that. You never say never, but I just don't see it for any of those teams. And if I'm forgetting a team that made a deep run in college, that it was by a single player who led them, please let me know. It's just not crossing my mind. It's all about teamwork, and the team that sticks together and plays like a team, and they don't have that ball hog, they're most likely going to be the most successful, regardless of the sport. Well, I appreciate you guys as always. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.